Hi everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. Thanks for joining me today. I have a new book to show you. This is a request from a friend who asked me to make a book that their American Heritage girls could use as a prayer book. So in other words, something to keep track of their prayer requests and the answers to prayer. So I just have it loosely tied with this sparkly ribbon. I will put it in a bow before I give it to her. On the cover, which is a gutted book, by the way, I found a book at the dollar store. Picked that up, obviously, for $1, but I love doing that because they're in good shape. They don't smell. All you have to do is gut them and then put your signatures in. This one I did not have to expand, as you can see. It's a smallish book, and it's just a single signature book. She wanted it to be enough for about 15 or so meetings, so there's more than enough pages to allow for 2 or 3 pages per meeting, but that does not make a very big signature, so it was kind of fun this time to just be able to use what the original book size was. On the side, I sewed in the signature, obviously, with embroidery floss, but I added buttons in reds and blues and used a white thread to keep with our country's flag colors, red, white, and blue. I inked up the edge here on this scrapbooking paper or cardstock that I put on the outside of the book. So even though the book was already blue, I just wanted to make it stand out a little bit, so I added this and added the red to the edge to give it a bit of a distressed or aged look. And I like how these buttons kind of hide the author and the title, but the title of the book was actually Rebellion, so we don't want to think of American Heritage girls as being rebellious, but we could also figuratively think of the country's original rebellion against England as we came and fought for independence. But anyway, so inside there was a bit of a gap where the original book was sewn in, so I just put some ribbon. There's still a slight amount of cardboard showing. I think that that'll be okay, but I like how this looks. If you ever need to clean up an edge without a whole lot of rigmarole, just glue on some ribbon and lace or some kind of fabric thing like rickrack or maybe paper, but I think the fabric gives you some flexibility. So I had picked out a couple sheets of paper from Joann's. I didn't go with a packet of paper. I didn't need that much. I'm trying not to overbuy, is my tendency when crafting. So I bought some that really stood out to me, and I used all of the ribbon I already had. And I got it from Mattis Lace and Trimming Company, which is a great deal. For $5 or $6, you get a pretty good stuff bag about what I'm showing you here with my hands, and all kinds of laces and trims. So I picked out ones that were white or blue or red, and you can see I stamped the words pray. I added washi, a couple accents, and a couple little doodads I got in a mail package from Shawcraft One. And also wanted to mention there is some sewing. I didn't do a ton of it, but I sewed in most of the laces just for that added texture look. I left a little bit of a fringy bit of thread where the sewing was done, but I didn't leave it real long because I thought that might be a nuisance for the girls that are using this book, and they can trim that even closer if they don't like that kind of shabby look. When I trim my papers down to size, I often have these strips. You probably have noticed the same thing when you're junk journaling, and I may throw them away, but what I like to do is just take those strips, trim them in length, and add that to spruce up a plain page. This book is supposed to have plenty of room for writing prayers and answers to prayers, so I didn't add a lot of pockets and tuck spots or really anything like that. I talked to my friend, and she said just leave a lot of room for writing. And the girls are younger, so this way they can have plenty of room to write and use whatever their size handwriting is without having to squeeze it in on a narrow page or a page that has too much detail. So you can see washi here. It's kind of a golden speck. It may be hard to see. I used a few stamps, ones that say pray, amen, faith. I added, again, washi and a couple of those little adhesive gems. And one neat piece of paper that was at Joann's that a fellow shopper pointed out to me was this one. It's got all kinds of patriotic-based sayings or fun things about, just that you think about in the summertime and the 4th of July. So I used ones that seemed appropriate for this book, and one of them was like this. This land was made for you and me. I loved this paper. This is kind of just a scrapbook paper. It's not real sturdy, but it was thick enough to sew on this lace. I had some old flag stickers. I put those on. Used up more of my washi tape stash. I have probably a lot less than some of you and probably way too much than I should have. So I try to use that up whenever I can. I glued on that lace because this is a coffee dyed page and I didn't want to risk tearing that. Had these old labels and I thought they just kind of made a good little backdrop for the flag and just maybe help add a little more texture to the page and visual interest. I loved this weathered looking board flag. And I had these stickers, these banner stickers from a while back, so I picked out red ones and blue ones and put those throughout as a little accent. They might want to write a verse reference there or the month in which they're writing their prayer request down. Here, I won't take it all apart, but I paper clipped this little additional piece of scrapbook paper that I cut into a little note card, and they can add extra writing there if they want to. And I put a page of a inexpensive New Testament, which I picked up primarily for the purpose of adding bits and pieces to junk journals. More of that. I made a shaker. I'm not, to be honest with you, sure if I'm liking the way the blue turned out with the red. It's a lot lighter of a blue, and though I wasn't trying to stick strictly to a navy blue, I'm not sure it works, but I thought the girls would have fun with the shaker. There's stars in there, red, white, and blue sequins, which the sequins are actually silver, but kind of has the illusion of white when you put it with the red and the blue. So I thought they might like to goof around with that, and if they don't like it, they can take it out. No big deal there. There's one of the stampings. This gold foil washi I think is really fun. I love the look that gives a page. Another one of the cutouts. This is a tape that my friend Nicole gave me. It's actually like Scotch tape, but it looks like washi. It tears. It's a lot more thinner, but the red and white on the bright white, I liked the look of that. This is the center of the signature. As I said, I used embroidery floss. I did the 3-hole pamphlet stitch and added the buttons to the back as I showed you. More gold washi. I enjoy using washi with gold on it in a lot of my books. I have used that in wedding books and guest books, and it just adds, Christmas ones, a little element of, I don't know what you'd say, class to it, or a formal touch. I don't know. I just think it's good to add a little bit of metallic here and there. I like how that looks. This piece of lace is sewn on. It looks pretty rough, but the way the lace is made, it's probably the end of a line of lace. That's why when you buy it from the company, sometimes you get the scraps, so it looks kind of twisted. But there again, that's kind of part of that shabby look. And this is a pretty red and white washi, kind of florally or paisley looking. Another note card clipped in for additional writing space. Give me a home where the buffalo roam is the saying on that one. And again, another label for whatever they want to put on there. A couple more banner stickers. Another trim. Have these Tim Holtz old-fashioned labels. I think these used to be used for files, or I know my parents used them to label their movies back in the day when people made movies and had them in the tins. I remember these kinds of labels being there, and also on mailing envelopes. So whatever the original purpose is, Tim Holtz has a small package of various size reproductions of that. And here I just used some Illustrated Faith heart stickers and used kind of a similar theme in reverse. Here, this is Strong and Proud, Made in America, Home of the Brave since 1776. Some sparkly things there. More labels. I just made a tag here. This is glued on both sides, and I decorated the edges with the labels and the washi to spruce that up. Here's another red and white lace. Some white lace. Here's one of the sayings or from the song about our flag, "Forever in peace may you wave." More lace here, sewn on and glued on. More little random cardboard blue dots. The word pray. Oops, a little loose edge there I'll have to touch up. Another clipped in prayer card, or whatever they want to write in there. It says hello. I was sent that as well from my friend. And then I just ended with this little scrap piece I received from Diane and put it on there. They can embellish the book to a much higher degree if this is not fancy enough, but it's a good basic foundational book that they can use to record memories, prayer requests, answers, and I hope that they enjoy using it, and I hope that my special friends Darcy and Laura enjoy writing in this too when they're at American Heritage Girls, and they'll think of their junk journaling friend. Thank you for joining me today. We will see you next time. Bye.